Hey, special educators. Welcome to Teach, Taskbox, Inspire, the podcast dedicated to making your job as a special education teacher easier by making your instruction more fun for you and your students. Inside each episode, you'll learn how to get the most use out of your task boxes in the classroom. I'm your host, Lisa Holiday from Chalkboard Superhero, a veteran special education teacher passionate about empowering you with purposeful teaching strategies, helpful tips and tricks, and other classroom management tools that will help you thrive in your role. Let's get started with today's episode. Hey there, special education teachers, and welcome back to another episode of Teach, Taskbox, Inspire. I'm your host, Lisa Holiday, and today we're diving into a topic that is crucial for any special education teacher or classroom: supporting paraprofessionals. Now, paraprofessionals or teaching assistants are really the backbone of our classrooms. Even in an inclusion, they play such a vital role in helping us provide the best possible education for our students. Yet, they often don't get the credit that they deserve. So today, we're going to explore some strategies to ensure that paraprofessionals feel valued, supported, and equipped to succeed in their roles. So let's start by acknowledging the importance of paraprofessionals. They are absolutely the backbone of the classroom. They are the ones that are doing all of the dirty work. They're the ones that are working one-on-one with our students or providing individualized support or assisting with everything from behavior management to academic instruction. Without their dedication and showing up every day, our classrooms would simply not function as smoothly as they do. Haha, that's funny. So how can we as teachers support them in the best way possible? So number one, clear communications. The first step is to make sure that you establish those clear communications and expectations. Paraprofessionals need to know what's expected of them and how they can be the best to support the students and you as the teacher. So I have had so many different paraprofessionals throughout my entire career. The most support I've had in one room is having and managing 8 different paraprofessionals at once. This year, I have a brand new paraprofessional in my classroom, and she's going to be working with one of my students one-on-one. But she is brand new. She comes from a daycare setting, and so she's brand new to the school system. So she needs all of these things set up and in place so that she can have those clear communication and expectations. So number one, these are just tips, guys. Take what you can. So daily briefings. Maybe begin each day with a quick meeting or a brief with your para. This doesn't have to be long, maybe just a few minutes to kind of review real quick the day's schedule or any special instructions or changes in the routine. This kind of helps everyone stay on the same page and ensures that paraprofessionals are prepared for the day ahead. If you don't do this, sometimes you have people coming up to you all throughout the day wondering what's going on or why did this change or the schedule is not matching up. Make sure your paraprofessional knows their specific role. So this includes understanding their responsibilities during different parts of the day, from morning routines to transitions or end-of-the-day activities. You want to make sure their roles are very clear to kind of prevent confusion and ensure that both of you are efficiently working together. So sometimes I've worked in other districts that doesn't really have a very clear roles and responsibilities. And so I would have to provide that with my paraprofessionals. And sometimes they didn't like what was on that list. I've even had paraprofessionals whose job was it to toilet a student. And they took that job not knowing that that was their responsibility. So you want to make sure that they know what their role is in your classroom. You also want to establish a regular feedback loop. So you want to encourage those paras to kind of share their observations or concerns or suggestions with you. I remember early on in my career, I was managing way too many paraprofessionals, and there was a lot of noise in the room. and noise meaning drama. And so I came up with, okay, anything, I felt like such like an after school teacher for this because I was like, okay, any questions or concerns, I can't have you interrupting my instruction every single day. Put them in this little box and I'll read them later. That was a horrible idea. Please do not repeat that because it just wasn't great. So you want to make sure that you have those open lines of communication so that they can give you those suggestions for you in real time so that you can handle any concerns that pop up. This open line of communication really fosters that collaborative environment and allows you to address any issues promptly. Remember, feedback goes both ways, so be sure to provide constructive feedback to them as well. And I'll go as far as to say this. Oftentimes, I love to kind of walk around the room and give my paraprofessionals positive feedback. I do not like, on Fridays having a meeting and saying, okay, this is what you did wrong. That is not what I'm about. If I see something wrong or something that I want them to change, I do it in real time. Now, for those newbie special education teachers, I get it. It takes a long time to kind of build a backbone, but it is important for you to kind of say, oh, we're not going to use that language. Let's, rephrase our sentences to look like this. And you also want to make sure that you're showering them with positive feedback. Like, oh, good job, Nancy. I loved how you used this word with Johnny or whatever. All right. So number 2 is professional development and training. And I know. Who has time for that? But just like teachers, paras need opportunities to grow and develop their skills too. So providing ongoing training not only enhances their abilities, but it also shows that you value their contribution to the classroom. So you might, model how to do your independent work systems center or station or whatever. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I will put a link in the show notes all about my independent work systems. But maybe they don't understand how to do morning meeting, or maybe they don't know how to use whatever AAC device Johnny is using. So you want to have a whole demonstration on how to use that. Or maybe they don't know how to guide Johnny from his crisis and he needs some behavior management techniques and you need to help guide them through that. So by providing this hands-on training, and usually this is kind of like in the moment training, you help your paraprofessionals build confidence and competence in their role. So the next thing you could do is workshops or seminars. So anytime you have professional development day, going to your administration and kind of saying, okay, this is kind of where my paraprofessionals are weak. Can we please have a training or a workshop on such and such topic? Or resource sharing. So sharing resource and materials with your paraprofessionals, whether it's videos or instructional guides, or sometimes I've even taken courses that I've given them my login information to say, you have to check out this course. It's really great. You might even consider creating a shared folder where both of you can upload any useful materials and references, or that you can reference from time to time. All right. The last one is creating a positive working relationship with that person. This partnership is built on mutual respect, trust, and teamwork. And I will say in all of my career, the hardest thing to do about this is when I was a young 28-year-old, teacher, and I always inherited these 62-year-old paraprofessionals who maybe they've been in the school forever and this is their way, but it kind of has to work both ways, right? You want to show your appreciation regularly. Simple gestures like a thank you note or a shout out during a staff meeting or a small token of appreciation can go a long way in making paraprofessionals feel valued. This will boost their morale and it motivates them to kind of continue giving their best. If they're not appreciated, they won't kind of show up every day. You want them to come in with a smile on their face and happy to be there, right? The next thing is you kind of want to involve them in any planning or decision making because while you may be the lead teacher, Your paraprofessionals have valuable insight and ideas to contribute. Please do not count them out. Sometimes 5 heads are better than 1. You want to include them in discussions about student goals or classroom management strategies, any kind of instructional planning. Oftentimes, at my last district, I would have Friday meetings, and I would always say, well, what do you guys think? What are your ideas? And they always felt valued when I said that, because sometimes, I can't even say sometimes, almost all of the time, I would use their ideas. They were good ideas. They've been doing this long enough to where they know what works and what doesn't work. It's just something that I would have never thought of. I'm like, great, we'll start that on Monday. And the last thing I want to say is you want to be there for your paraprofessionals during challenging situations, whether it's dealing with a difficult student behavior or navigating a tough day. You want to offer your support and guidance. Sometimes just knowing that you have their back can really make all the difference. So let me just say this. If you know that their mother just died, or their dog isn't at the vet, or their child got hurt over the weekend, and you know that they're off, you want to check in with them. Make it personal to you. How's your mom doing? Even just a few minutes of conversation can build that relationship with paraprofessionals. Not to say that we're not personable people, but sometimes we can get so into our own teaching that we forget that these are people too. So supporting paraprofessionals in the classroom is not just about giving them instructions. It's about building a strong relationship that benefits everyone, especially the students. By establishing those clear communications, providing ongoing training, and fostering a positive working environment, you can create a classroom where both of you and your paraprofessional can absolutely thrive. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Teach, Task, Box, Inspire. I really hope you found these tips helpful and that you'll take them back to your own classroom. If you have any questions or strategies that have worked well for you, I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to check out the show notes for resources and links that might help you in supporting your paraprofessionals. Until next time, guys, bye-bye. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Teach, Task, Box, Inspire. I hope you've gained some tips and motivation to fuel your week ahead. If you're ready to explore more strategies for empowering your students as independent learners, be sure to dive into my free training at chalkboardsuperhero.com/training. And don't keep all this knowledge to yourself. Share this episode with your special education teacher friends who could use some motivation and inspiration. One more thing before you go. If you're finding this podcast helpful and want to show support, head to Apple Podcasts and leave your rating and review. Until next time, keep teaching, task boxing, and inspiring.